Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to give you a proper flip through of my everyday carry planner. This is my everyday carry for a reason. It's got everything in it that basically helps me keep my life together. If I lost it, I'm not really sure what I would do because, like I say, everything is in it. I use a Gillio A6 Compagna. This is in the Epoca leather and the colour is rust, and it's really hard to capture how beautiful this colour is, but it's kind of like an autumn, crisp autumn leaves kind of colour. It's absolutely beautiful, and the leather has these beautiful stretch marks, striations in it, and it's stunning, and the more I use it, the more stunning it becomes, the more it patinas and gets those little marks from use that shows quite how much this gets used. I bought this second hand off the Gillio marketplace in the summer of 2020, and I've been using it ever since, and I just can't quite imagine not using it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I bought this, I bought it as like I'll have this one until I can get an undyed. I really wanted an undyed. But every time I see an A6 undyed come up for sale, I just sort of go, oh, but then I can't use my rust. So I really do love this. I'm not saying that it will be my forever planner, but I'm sure at some point I will change into a different one. But at the moment, I just love this, and I can't see myself changing for now. So the A6 Compagna, if you haven't seen one before, it's their more expensive. The Compagna is their more expensive model. So basically, the Compagna has the big back pocket. It has extra pockets and things. It doesn't have any stiffener, so without things in it, it's quite a floppy leather, and it's just beautiful. And I love, like, you can see the different leather patterns. I've got like sort of pebbly leather here and then quite smooth leather in these pockets, and I just love that variation. I think it's truly beautiful, and yeah, it just seems to get better with age. I absolutely love it. So let me just quickly run through the little dangles I've got on here as well. These I put together myself. They're actually a combination of Fox and Pip and Willa Walla Co, I want to say, and Frank Hearts You, I think, did those together, but they're basically on a Harry Potter theme. So you've got, like, this one says Portkey on it, and then you've got this one that's like a little snitch, and then this is just a Fox and Pip bow. And I just made those myself. I bought the charms and then I put them together on the string. So let's move inside. So on the left hand side here, you've got 4 card slots, and then 1, 2, 3 slip pockets down this side, and I keep just mainly decorative things here, to be honest. They're not that functional, but I like having bits and bobs tucked in here. I've got this pin which is from Happy Hello Art on Etsy. I saw this pin on in Lindsay's planner, and I'm a Harry Potter fan. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. If you don't know, Harry Potter is a huge part of my life. So when I saw this pin with Hogwarts on it, I just knew that I just had to get it. It's so pretty. And it came with a normal pin back, and I asked James to take off the normal pin back, so I just have that there. I have a little If Found card that I made. This is just a piece of watercolour paper that I ripped the edge off to make it look all distressed, and I've just got my contact information on there. And then I've got these 2 tortoiseshell task cards, and these are from Planning to Be Happy. And they're really good quality, they're really sturdy, and I just have some page markers on that one there. I think the other one's blank. And then finally, in this little pocket, I've got my little Kermit sipping his tea. This is from Pigtails and Pockets, and it is a paper clip, but I just keep him tucked into this pocket, just to remind me that, that's none of my business. So then in the little slip pockets, I've got this little piece of card, which is just a scrap that my mum had. She was practicing using. She's got one of those, like, my mum she doesn't do scrapbooking, but she does card making. So she, like, her like craft room is insane. One day I might show you, but it is absolutely insane. So she has one of those like edge punches, and this was like one that went wrong. And I just said, well, can I have that because it's pretty? So I just keep it tucked in there. In the next slip pocket, I just have I have these page markers, which are from Sainsbury's in the UK. I don't think you can get them anymore, but they're transparent page markers like you get from like cloth and paper and things, and I just really love them, especially because of the tortoiseshell one. And then this little card has just got the SKU numbers for a collection of stickers that I released recently. So that bit of cards obviously just got shoved in there while I've been working on the business. So those just live in there. And then this little card is the back of a greetings card by Rifle Paper Company that you will see the front of in a moment. So that just lives in there, and again I think it just looks pretty. So the A6 Compagna, if you haven't used an A6, if you haven't seen the Gillio A6, it does come with ring protectors. The other A6, the other Compagna lines don't have the ring protectors in, I don't believe, and I find them really useful. I know lots of people take them out because they don't like them, but it does just mean that this bit of leather here gets a little bit more protection from the rings. So I've left them in. On the right hand side here, I do keep in the flyleaf. So the A6 comes with a flyleaf, and the flyleaf has another pen loop on it, which again, the other Companion models don't have that. And typically on here, I usually have this Zebra Sarasa Grand, which I actually have a Sarasa Dry refill in, and this is the pen that I use the most in my planner. And it's like this dark red colour that kind of goes with the planner. If I don't have that one in there, I often have, hang on, my Kaweco Special. This is the brass special, and I have a gel ink refill in here as well, and that also is often found in there. So they're the two pens that you might see tucked in. On the flyleaf, I have an Ollie clip. This is the large size, not the jumbo. The jumbo is like this big, but the large size, and this is in the leopard print. And then I just have this little die cut, which is from Caffeine and Paper Co, Hannah's shop, and it says, Google, where your questions go, not my DMs. I don't get as many of these sort of messages anymore, but I used to get a lot of, where'd you get your sticker paper from? Where'd you get this from? And I'd just be like, oh, for God's sake, like, do some research, please. Like, I know that it's, you know, sometimes we just like to ask questions, and I don't mind if someone says like, oh, where did you get those task cards from? Like, that's fair enough. But when it's related to a business, I think it's kind of rude, basically. But yeah, so then on the other side, I just have these other two journaling cards. These were on the front, and I just haven't taken them out. When I've swapped them from the front, I've just shoved them in the back. This one that says it's okay to grow slow came with my dividers from Lines Plus Paper. And then this one I really like because I'm terrible for apologising when I don't need to apologise. I often say, oh, sorry, so sorry. And James pulls me up on it all the time. He's like, you don't need to apologise right now. So this one came free with a cloth and paper order quite a while ago. And it has, instead of saying sorry for something, it's like the positive version. So it's like, instead of saying sorry I'm late, say thank you for waiting. Sorry I didn't realise, thanks for pointing that out, and things like that. So yeah, I've got that one. Actually, I should have that one so that it's face up, because that one I do need to remember to do a bit more often. So on the right hand side here, we've got the front of that greetings card from Rifle Paper Company. I love Rifle Paper Company. Like, I think this is probably like the first, since I moved into A6, this is the first planner setup that I've had in a long time that doesn't have Rifle Paper Company dividers in it. And I am sort of feeling the pull as we're getting close to Christmas. I want to make myself some Rifle Paper Company dividers. So who knows, I might get around to that, I'm not sure. But I love Rifle Paper Company. I love their style. I just love the florals. I have so much of their stationery, like notepads and things like that. I just love Anna Riflebond's styling. It's just beautiful. So yeah, if you're into florals, if you're into like muted kind of colours and nice scripts, then definitely Rifle Paper Company is a company to get behind. So I have this little greetings card that I just chopped in half and punched and put in the front. It's not quite A6 size, but it's close enough for me. I don't need it to be perfect. Straight behind that greetings card, I have this vellum. And this is a piece of art that I got off Etsy, which I will try and link below. It was a digital, it's supposed to be up on your wall, but I just printed it on vellum and put it in the front of my planner. And I love this quote. It says, "I am what I am and I'm not ashamed. Never be ashamed. There's some who'll hold it against you, but they're not worth bothering with." And it's something that Hagrid says in Harry Potter. You'll notice there's a lot of Harry Potter in this planner. But I just love that quote. I think it's really important. It's something that I especially need to remember a bit more, because I'm always worried that people are judging me because of how I am. And it's not something that I can help. It's just who I am. So, right. So let's get into the meat of the planner. So I have 6 sections in here. And then I have subsections within those 6 sections. I am a tab addict. I love tabs. I love dividers. I love being able to separate things out. I like everything to be in its own little compartments. I like organisation. It's the only thing basically that keeps me sane. Like, I have to have things separated out or I can't find anything. So the different sections that I have down on this side, these tabs are all from Lines Plus Paper. Olivia is wonderful. She ships from Germany, and you can have these tabs custom printed with the words that you want on them. So some of these are fairly standard that I've got written on, but then others are much more sort of like personalised to me. So, and I've got the clear frosted with the gold foiling, and I just think they're wonderful. They're really sturdy, but they don't take up too much space, because obviously I've got a lot of tabs in here, and I just highly recommend them. I will link Olivia's shop down below. So the sections I have are to do, schedule, shop, work, home and health. And they're my overarching sections in here. And I just love having everything sectioned out in this way. There's just something about having it this way that makes sense in my brain. So yeah, so in the to-do section, this is basically my inbox, and I only really have 2 things in here. I have my actual inbox, and this is a Peanuts Planner Co. 5. It's her categorized list. If you buy her categorized list insert, then she has like a 5 version and a 3 version. And I use the getting things done method in here. So I've got basically this stuff organized by if it can get done straight away. So if a task comes in and it can get done straight away, it goes on my daily page and I get it done. I don't put it on my inbox. This is more longer term things. So I have urgent, someday, delegated, scheduled and actioned, and that just helps me know, right, if it's urgent, if the checkbox is in this column, it needs to get done soon. It maybe doesn't need to get done today or even this week, but it needs to get done soon. So I will write it on here and mark it as urgent. If it's someday, that just means sometime in the future that isn't immediate. So it's not this month sort of thing. So like sorting my receipts, when I wrote this in, this was several months ago, I didn't need to do my receipts for my taxes yet. My taxes actually need to be done by the end of January. So now it is kind of urgent. So I'm going to start thinking about, right, I'm going to put this on my monthly this month to get it done. Then delegated, basically if it's a task that needs doing but I've delegated it to someone else, then I stick it in the delegated column. If it's something that it's been scheduled, so like my car service and things like that, I mark it as scheduled once I have scheduled it. So like my car service, it was urgent, and then when I scheduled it, I marked it down as scheduled, and then when it had been actioned, I marked it off. I also, as well as marking it as actioned, I also highlight it when it's been done. And I have a couple of sheets of those. Then I also have this little digital on some vellum. This one's quite old, it's got really wrinkly, but this digital is from the Fox and Pip Facebook group. Amanda did this. She's another Harry Potter fan, and obviously this is a nice Snape little digital. Snape I find controversial. I don't think he's a good guy, but I do quite like this quote, so I got it on here. And then the other thing that I have in my inbox, and this is the only other thing that's in here, is this little tab that I had made by Olivia that does actually say inbox on the top in the foiling. And on here, I just keep sticky notes. And so basically, if my planner is shut and I need to quickly make a note of something, or I'm not on my daily page, it's open but I'm not on my daily page, and I need to quickly make a note of something, I need to write down some details, maybe it's something for work, something that I need to get done, it goes on a sticky note, and I basically just open to this inbox tab, write it on a sticky note, and then I can move the sticky note to where it needs to be, and then I can deal with it later. So I can move it onto my inbox if it's something that needs doing later. If it's something that needs doing this week, I put it on my weekly. If it's something that needs doing today, it goes on my daily. So yeah, so I just have these post-it notes. These marble ones, I can't remember where I got them from. I feel like it was like B&M's or Home Bargains or something. It was like in a pack. These translucent ones, or transparent, well, I think they're translucent. These are actually from Cloth and Paper, and they didn't have any of the smaller size in stock. So I bought the larger ones and I chopped them in half. And they're actually like the perfect size to fit underneath here. And then these round ones, these are from Cloth and Paper, and I think these are the chai colour. But yeah. So then next we go into my schedule section, and this is basically where all of my calendar stuff is. It's a pretty chunky section. So at the beginning I have another Etsy digital art. This one says Visit Hogsmeade, the only entirely non-Muggle settlement in Britain. And I just love this piece of art. I have actually thought about printing it on to have it displayed as a piece of art as well, which I think I'm going to do. But I just like having that one in here. So at the front of my schedule section, I have a yearly fold out. This one is from Peanuts Planner Co. And I just use this to make a note of things, either like appointments or anniversaries, birthdays and things going forward. But then I also use this to write down when things happened. So I don't keep my monthlies for the whole year, for the months gone past, in my planner. I take them out. So what I do is I write down those important events and things in this yearly fold out, so that I can still look back and go, oh, when did that deer hit my car? It hit my car in March. And you know, things like that. I can look back and I can go, oh yes, that's when that happened. And I just keep that there. So that's from the Peanuts Planner Co. I buy the dated bundle every year because, to be quite frank, I am rubbish at writing out these months correctly. Like, I'm terrible at it. Like, when I do my monthly, I'm like triple checking every single time that I've got it right, and I always do it wrong. And I'm the sort of person who, I don't like to just fix it. I will have to then do another one and another one. So for me, I would rather spend the few pounds and get the one that's dated, and I've already got it ready for next year. So next up is my monthly, and this monthly is one that I've made myself. I do have a little, oh, I need to move that because we're now in December. So I do have a monthly tab that I have. This is again from Olivia's shop, from Lines Plus Paper, and I've just slit it so that I can move it. So my monthly, my weekly and my today tabs, I slit them, and I actually have them, instead of being at the front of the section, I have them so that they're on the right month, week or day, so that I just move to that tab and it takes me to where I need to be. So my monthly, let's move back to November so I can show you it properly as it is. So this is the insert that I made myself. I write the month up at the top. I have the little squares, and I use little minimal icons. I use a combination of my own stickers, like these televisions and things, they're mine, and then a couple from Hannah's shop, that's Caffeine and Paper Co., which I don't know where they are at the minute, but I have quite a few of Hannah's stickers as well. So I mix those in together. And I wanted a monthly that had room for me to have both a personal calendar and a work calendar, because I was using like a month on 2 pages, and I just found it was getting really messy, and there often wasn't room for me to put in the work thing and the personal thing. So what I did was I decided to do like a grid on this side, and then 2 list dates, basically, so that I've got one that's work and one that's personal. And I just write personal appointments on this side, work appointments on this side. I have my grid on this side, and then I have 2 little weekly trackers down here. So they're just lists that are 1 through 6, because sometimes there are 6 weeks in a month. And I basically use these to track my weight, because I weigh in on a Saturday. And then who's doing the food shopping on which week, because James and I alternate with who's doing the food shopping. So it just helps me keep track of that, and it means that I'm not sticking a sticker in every other week. So this is actually December's. If I just lift up my habit tracker. Here you go. So you can kind of see, so this is December's. I've filled out some stuff. The rest of it isn't filled out very much because I don't know yet. We're right at the beginning of the month. It's the 3rd today. Or is it the 2nd? 3rd. It's the 3rd today. So I've started to fill it out, but you know, it's not completely filled out. And then the other thing that I've been doing is I've been using a monthly habit tracker. This one is from Simple and Trendy Co. And Young makes really great inserts. You'll see a lot of hers throughout my planner. But this is just the monthly habit tracker. It allows you to put quite a few different habits in and then track them per day. I'm not very good at doing my habits, so this is something that I keep changing how I want to do it. And at the moment I'm using this. I do find I'm not doing my habits. That's my problem. I find it really hard to motivate myself to actually do them. I come up with all these habits that I want to do and things, but I'm just not very good at actually doing them, I'll be honest. But I am finding that having the monthly one, I like having a whole month's overview of how I'm doing. I was tracking it weekly on this little one that's on my weekly, but I was finding that 1, I couldn't track all of my habits on there, and 2, like week to week, it would go too quickly for me to be able to notice how I was doing. So I'm finding that monthly, I like to see a whole month basically. So then we go on to weeklies, and again I've got another weekly tab here that again pops out, and I just tuck it in. This weekly is again something that I made, so I can't direct you to it unfortunately. If I find the time, I do want to make these available as a freebie, but I just haven't found the time yet. So on here, I wanted a weekly that I had lots of different areas for different things. So I wanted, again, to be able to have a personal and a work weekly calendar. I wanted to be able to have space to write appointments in. I did originally want to have a habit tracker in here as well. Like I said, I think I'm actually going to take this out and make that calendar just a bit bigger so it takes up the full page. Then on this side, I wanted space to have different to-do lists because I want to be able to have a work to-do list, a home to-do list, a shop to-do list, and then like a personal to-do list. So I want to just have that space to be able to section things out. I like everything to be in one book, but I like it to be separated out in those books, and I find it difficult if it's not. So I just need those separate little areas. And then I also wanted to have a couple of weekly spaces. I haven't filled this in yet, but this side is where I write the meals that we're having in a week. And then on this side, this is where I write my cleaning tasks for the week. I've not been filling that out. I've been really bad at it. And it means that I'm not actually, I mean, you can see that I'm going back a couple of weeks now. And it means that I'm not getting those things done. So I do need to schedule some time on maybe a Sunday evening to properly fill this out for the following week and make sure that I am making sure that we're all up to date and everything's ready. So then we come to the daily. I've again got another tab. This one's actually a larger one than the other ones, and it just says today on it. And I just put this on the actual day that we're on. And for my dailies, I'm actually using the Hobonichi Techo pages. The Techo is A6, that's the smaller Hobonichi. It uses Tomoe River paper, so it's super thin. And I decided to move to using these because I wanted to be able to use I wanted a daily page that was free of too much constraint. I tried making several daily inserts that I thought were just what I needed, but they just ended up being frustrating because I didn't have quite enough room for what I needed. So I went with the Hobonichi pages just because they are so open, but I can make them do what I want them to do. So they have a schedule down this side, so I actually write down, and they also have like a very faint line here that is slightly darker than the other lines. So what I do is I use that little column there to be my schedule for the day, and I write down what happens as it happens. I use my dailies primarily to then transfer this information to my memory planner. So during the day, I use this to keep track of what I'm doing and to add things to my to-do list, make sure I get everything done. But then at the end of the day, I transfer this information to my memory planner so that I've got that for years to come. So I do keep track of what I do during the day. And then on this side here, there's 5 little checkboxes up at the top. Well, what I actually do is I make this to-do list. I make this to-do list as long as I need it. If it's a day that I really, really need a long to-do list, let me find one. Here you go. So this was the 25th of November and I was about to go on leave at work. I was preparing for Black Friday with my shop. I just made the to-do list as long as I absolutely needed it to be. And that means that I can make it as long or as short as I need it to be. If I need space to write notes, I can also write them in this space. So I do have a couple, let me see if I can find, I just need to cover something up here. But so for example, here, I needed to make some notes about events that I'm planning at work. And I basically, I have my little tracker, my little what I'm doing during the day here, my to-do list up here, and then I made some notes down at the bottom here so that I didn't lose those notes. And I will transfer those notes to somewhere important in my memory planner so that I've got them to refer back to in the future. So I've been using the Hobonichi pages for about a month now, and I'm finding them really great. I really love them. I think what I'm going to do is for 2021, I think I probably am going to buy a 2021 Hobonichi and just chop the pages out like I'm doing now and put them in, because it's just working so well for me at the moment. The one that I'm using at the moment is a 2019 Hobonichi. So if you're looking at it thinking that's not the right day of the week, that's why. I didn't want to waste basically one that I already had, so I'm using that at the moment. And I've got the pages right up until the beginning, if actually for the whole of January at the moment, because the one that I had was a spring start. So because the pages are so thin, because they're Tomoe River paper, I can have loads of pages in here and I don't have to worry about making sure that I've always got the next month's ready. So the next section that I have is my shop section. I can't show you a great deal in here because this has got basically like business ideas and stuff. I've put a blank sheet at the front here so that you can't see. But things in here I have are like the list of the products that I want to make. I have a list of my suppliers, so like what type of paper I get from where, and where I get my envelopes from, where I get my little glassine bags and stuff like that from, so that if I need to reorder something while I'm at work, I've got that information in here ready. I also have things like, actually that I can show you, let me just find it. So I have like the list of the book spines that I want to draw, so that I've always got in mind which ones that I want to look for. With my business planning, I basically use a method where I give everything that needs to be done a target amount of time. So like I figure out how long I think it will take me to do that. So if I want to look up a couple of book spines, a couple of Dickens book spines, so that I've got the photos ready for me to draw them, that only generally takes a couple of minutes per book spine. So if I've got the list of the spines that I want ready with me, I can do that in my lunch break when I'm, you know, if I'm bored, I just want something to do, I can do that, and then I've got those images ready so that I can draw them at a later date. Same for like ordering paper and stuff like that. If I've got the information in here, I can do that wherever I am if I've got a few minutes. It doesn't matter if I am at home or at work or on the go, I've got it with me. And then I also have in here, which I won't show you because that has got more information on sort of like the products that I'm looking to release at some point. But that I've basically got like an inbox insert, like the inbox that I have at the beginning of the planner, that has those tasks that need to be done and how long they're I use the 5-1 and I split it into times. So I'll try and at some point I will film a video to do with my business planner to sort of show you that, because it is well, I don't really see too many people talk about business planners very much, so at some point I will do that. So oh, and to to just let you know, so this lists insert is a simple and trendy insert. This 4-box insert is from Peanuts Planner Co. And then you can see the back of this is the insert that I use for my suppliers. And this is a Peanuts Planner Co. resources insert. And I just write down what the product is and then who it's from and what it's called. So the next section in my planner is my work section. And in here I have, this is where we start to get into like subsections within sections. So I can show you a few little bits in here actually. I've covered bits up. So actually, let me just mention these cute little mice. I've got these little mice tabs dotted in my planner. You'll see them as we start to go through. And these were actually little page markers, like bookmark page markers, and they came with a cat as well. But they're really cute. My auntie got me them for either Christmas or my birthday one year, and I just love them. They're brass, so they're really heavy duty, and I just really love them. So the first thing that I have in my work section is tasks. And so I manage, if you don't know, as my name suggests, I am a librarian. I'm actually a library manager. I have well, technically 3 roles within my job role. I manage a site, so I manage a library. I also run our social media, and I also run the legacy of a project that I ran a couple of years ago, that was a sort of charity funded project. It was really interesting. We got £250,000 to spend on training disadvantaged young people, basically, which was great. So I run several different things within my job. So trying to keep all of that together and running alongside each other, I find not stressful, but I do find it a challenge, because being able to flip between having those different hats on is quite, I find that a challenge. So I do what I can to try and keep myself together, basically. So I have this recurring tasks. This is from Peanuts Planner Co. And you'll see I use this insert a lot. And it basically, here I just have all of the things that I have to do or have to make sure is done to the building that I manage. So things like checking the fire doors, flushing the water, checking the emergency lights, fire extinguishers, first aid kit, and all of that sort of thing. And then things that get done every sort of 6 months, like the air conditioning servicing, the alarm servicing and things. I just like to keep track of when those things are done. So I just have this little insert, and I write what it is on that side, and then I tick it off when it's been done for that month. And then on the back, I have, these are things that I have to do at the end of each month. So like I have to report like our visit statistics and our social media stats and all of that sort of thing. That all, again, I just tick it off when it needs doing for each month. On the right hand side here, I have my inbox. This is an example of a post-it note that's just got stuck in here. This is one of my colleagues has borrowed one of the laptops that we bought as part of that project that I manage. So I've just shoved that in here because I need to remember that he's got that laptop. And then, so I just shoved it on the inbox. So again, I've just got like a work inbox. I'm using the same categorized list insert, but I've got 3 instead of 5. I've got it split into Raisin, which is the site that I manage, whether it's social media and whether it's done. I tend to include stuff that's to do with the project that I do as part of the social media column, because I do it at the same time. I do those on the same days. So yeah, it just helps me keep everything together, basically. And then I've got another one. Then we get into the 3 subsections that I've got in my work section. These ones I'm actually using tabs from randy.plans. These are, oh, I've not split these ones. These are really nice quality. They are the 10mm, and these ones are clear. They're not labelled because when I put these subsections in, I wasn't sure how I wanted these subsections to go. So I bought these because Randy ships them out super quickly. They come from the States, but she sends them by letter mail. They come quickly. They're reasonably priced. They're not extortionate. Like, they're really good quality. So I just wanted something quick, whereas like with Olivia's, because they're custom made with like custom printing, it takes longer to get them. So I wanted something quick, and once I know that these categories are definitely working for me, which so far they are, I will then invest in ones that are labelled. So the 3 sections that I have after tasks are my reference section, a notes section, and then like my hours management, I suppose you would call it. See, this is the thing, I haven't got titles for them. So in my reference section, this is basically where I keep sheets that I've got information on that I need to reference. So I have an information dissemination one. This is basically how I keep track of if I've actually told my staff things that I need to update them, because they don't all work all day every day with me. So, and I work days when they don't work, so trying to keep track of, have I emailed them, have I actually physically told them and shown them, and all of that sort of thing. I find that insert really useful, and again I'm using the Peanuts Planner Co categorized checklist for that one. I have, because I do our social media, we do activities on there, and I like to keep track of how often we've done certain activities. So like story time, how often we've read the same book. Like we've read The Gruffalo 3 times, we need to read some other ones at the moment. And this again is the Simple and Trendy Co lists insert, and I've just put an extra line down here so that I can tally, because I want to do like a 5-bar gate system. Same with rhyme time. I have the Peanuts Planner Co categorized list that I'm using for building faults, because I manage a building. So again, I've just put another line in so that I can put the date that it's happened, and then I can put whether it's been reported and resolved. Reported is actually for 2 different people. I need to like reported to property and reported to my manager are 2 different things. So, and then I've got the same for IT faults. I've got the date that it happened, the fault, and whether it's been reported and resolved. Another one that I've got is the how-to videos that I need to film for our social media channel, like how to use our ebook system and stuff like that. I film little videos, little top-down videos, a bit like this, on how to use our services. And then we do something called Dear Time, we do something called Wellbeing Wednesday. So I just like to keep a reference of those. And then I've got some sheets that are notes that I've made that I will need to refer to in the future. So this is to do with our online catalogue, the admin console for it. I have a Fake Borrow account for when I do those how-to videos. So I've got those details. I've got additional hour pay codes for my staff. Got video exporting settings for when I do the videos for the social media, troubleshooting for our Wi-Fi, and like basically important things that I think I'm going to need to refer to that in future. So if I make a note of it, I will So if I make a note of it on some note paper, I pop it in here. And that is where sometimes, you know, like I was talking about in my daily pages, if I make a note of something, if I think I'm going to need that information in the future, I will transfer it to this reference section as well, so that I've got it when I'm at work. And I just think, oh, you know, I'm going to need to refer to that at some point. I'll put it in here. And then equally, when I don't need to refer to something anymore, I'll take it out of here. It's not once it's in here, it stays in here. It's a movable feast, basically. So in the second tab, this is basically just spare note paper. So this is an insert that I made myself. I wanted a note page that had a blank space at the top for me to write what it is, and then a grid. And so I just made this myself. And this is where basically if I run out of room on my daily pages, I can move into here and write in here. And then also, like I say, if I want to make a note of something that I know I'm going to need reference for later, I will write it on these papers. And then I also have in this section just some spare categorized list sheets and a spare list sheet from Simple and Trendy Co. Then we get into the last section. I have this vellum here, which has got a scan of a piece of artwork that I own by Cheyenne Barton. And I got this piece of artwork because here was my word of the year last year. And it was basically just to make myself think less about the future, less about the past, and just think about the fact that I'm here and now, and focus on, you know, making the most of today, sort of thing. So I scanned it and I've just put it in here just as a little reminder. I have a little post-it note with my working hours on the back. And then this is the Peanuts Planner Co. And I can't remember what she calls this, but it's basically like a yearly tracker. So it has 6 months at a time on the back and the front, and then every day. And basically what I do is I write down if I've done under or over the amount of hours that I'm supposed to do on each day, and then the tally of how much over or under I am for the week, like rolling week. So like it's 13.35 that week, but that was basically because I took 1 hour off the previous week, sort of thing. And I do that for I've done that basically since the start of COVID and lockdown, because I was working a lot of extra hours and things. My hours were moving all over the place because social media became what we could do because we were shut. So it's just how I'm keeping track of what hours I've got where. And on a monthly basis, I actually write it on this insert. So this is it's a monthly undated horizontal from Simple and Trendy Co. And I basically just write the hours that I actually do and whether it's up or down, which I haven't actually finished doing for this month, on here. And then at the end of the month, I transfer it into this sheet. And I just have a little tab that I made myself on this. This is just a laminated, it's one of those post-it tabs, and I've put washi tape on it and laminated it. There is a video on Lindsay Scribble's channel how to do that, so I will try and link it down below for you. And I just used, this is some of my favourite washi tape, and it's from Paper Source in the US. And I just have December's all ready to go. I'm on leave this week, so nothing to put in there. So the next section that we get to is home. And in here, the first page that I have is a contacts sheet. I'll be able to show you the back of, this is what it looks like. And I just have my emergency contacts. So like James, my mum and my sister are just in here. And it's basically for if my phone dies and I need that information, I've got it written down. So within home, we go into, again, I've got multiple categories within home. And these ones I have actually got the custom dividers from Olivia at Lines Plus Paper. So I have moolah, which is money. It's just what my family call money. It was either moolah or dosh. That's what my dad used to say. And then I have home and I have Bert. So the first section, we've got moolah. So in here, I've got this this no spend tracker for November, which was from Modern and Minimal Co. I need to get a new one for December. I don't know if she's done one. But I did have more days where I didn't spend money, I promise. But I did stop filling it out. And I do find that this is the problem with trackers. Like if I can't track it on a monthly tracker where I just go to one place and track, then I don't fill it out if they're dotted through. The trackers that are dotted in these parts of, in this back half of my planner, are ones that I go back and fill out in bulk, if you know what I mean. They're not something that I do day to day. I fill them out in bulk. So I need to get a new one for that one because it is now December. The next one that I have, this is the bills, a monthly bills tracker. Let me show you what the back looks like, from Simple and Trendy Co. again, and it just has the date, what it is, the amount, and then you check it off for each month. The next sheet, on the back, I just have a little, another one of these little marble post-it notes, and this has got the little categories that I use for checking off my spending. I have this checkbook register. I've never owned a checkbook, I don't think, because it just isn't a thing anymore. But I use this to fill out my spending for the month. Haven't done it so far this month. I really do need to go and do that. I think I've not filled it out because I know that obviously because Christmas is coming, this month has been a bit of a spendy month. So it's kind of scary to write that all down. But I've been buying a lot of presents for people, so at least it's not just for me. But I do, when I fill these out, I don't do them as a calendar month. I do them as a pay month. So I get paid generally on the 22nd, but obviously if it's the 22nd is a weekend, then I get paid the Friday before from my day job. So I use this to track the spending that I've done within that period. And I just find it useful to categorize it by the type of sort of the section of my budget that it comes from. I've also got in here payment tracker for my credit card. I like to visually be able to every month mark off that I've paid that much off it. It just helps me remember that I am making progress with these sorts of things. So I just have that in there. Then next I have this digital. This is from Caffeinated Concepts, which is Hannah from Caffeine and Paper Co. It's her digital shop and it's on Etsy. And I love this little digital. The problem is I often will turn to this to write down things that I've already bought, like after the fact, whereas really I need to see this before I've bought it. So I'm not quite sure that it really works, but I like seeing it. And it does sort of make me think, oh yeah, I've bought another thing. Let's try and be good and not buy more things. for the next sort of while. But yeah, it just says, hey, you exit out of that tab. You don't need another planner or washi tape or bag or anything really, which is true. I don't need any more stuff. I've got loads of stuff. So next up I've got, oh, I forgot to say the payment tracker insert is from Peanuts Planner Co. and the check register is Simple and Trendy Co. So next up, I've got another one of those little mousies. This one's running down the side of the page, and this is on my order tracker. I think this is from Simple and Trendy Co. because the font looks the same. But I like this one more than any other order tracker because it doesn't just have shipped and received on it. It also has returned and refunded, which I know doesn't, you know, most orders that I receive, I don't return and I don't refund, but occasionally there are some that I do have to return. So I like to be able to mark that down so that I remember, because my memory is terrible and I might look back and go, oh, like that Jules jumper, what did I do with that? And it's like, oh yes, no, I returned it. I actually exchanged it, so I didn't get a refund, so I don't need to mark a refund. But sometimes, you know, you look and you go, oh, what did I get that? Where is that? I can't find that. Oh, it's because you returned it. So I just write down the different orders on here. It's pretty messy because I just tend to write them down quickly. And I'm doing quite well really. I've been using this one since the beginning of October and I've only just gone on to the other side. So then after that I have a wish list sheet. This is a categorized list again from Peanuts Planner Co. I use this list this insert so much. It's so useful. So on this one, I used to have like a wish list where I had different sections and I would split everything into those sections. And then I don't know if it was Lindsay or if it was Rana or it was someone anyway that I saw doing this, where you just have the list and then you say what section it is on the side. And I just thought that was genius. So I have planner, beauty, clothing, home and other, and I just write everything that I want. Basically, whenever I think, oh, I'd really like that, I write it on this wish list, even if it's small, so that I can like mark it off when I got it, or I can like, I'm looking at some of this stuff now and I'm like, oh, I don't actually want that. But it's basically to try and put a little bit of a buffer in between me thinking I want that and buying it. So on here you'll find things that are much more expensive, that are things that one day I hope to have, and then things like a Tombow in 026 black sticky notes, things that I could just go, oh, I'm just going to buy that, but I'm making myself think about it a little bit more. And then once I've got them, I just highlight it off in this Tombow colour actually, which is number, oh, it's rubbed off 192 maybe, but it's a really nice green. Then I have a gift list and it's the same sort of idea. I just write down what it is and then who it's for along the top here, and then I mark it off with a highlighter once I've bought it. Next up we're into our home section. So the home section is, again, it's quite a beefy, chunky section really. I have a lot of trackers in here. So first, this is something that would not normally be here. This is my Christmas baking tracker, which you might be thinking, like, really? You need a Christmas baking tracker? Yes, I do. So for Christmas, for the past few years, what I've done is I've put together like a little hamper of things for family members. So I like to make lots of little things to go in that. And I give each couple or each person like a few of each thing. So I've got a list of all of the things that I would like to make this year. I won't make all of these, but all of the things that I'm considering making, so that then what I can actually do is, as I make it, I can tick it off. Once something is in progress, I put a little dot next to it. So like last night, I made up the ganache for the gin truffles, but they then had to go into the fridge. So it's not fully made. They're not formed. It's just the ganache. So I put a little dot because I've started it. And then what I'm going to do as I start doling things out, well, as I've made things and I know how much of something I've got, I then start to work out, right, who can I actually give this to? And it also helps me to have this list, because then I know, like, my spice cookies, my auntie doesn't like, because she doesn't like cinnamon, so she also won't like cinnamon rolls or snickerdoodles. My mum doesn't like ginger, so she doesn't like gingerbread. She doesn't like white chocolate, so she won't like the limoncello truffles. Like things like that, I can have that all sort of mapped out here, so that when it comes to actually boxing everything up, because this year, obviously, I'm not actually going to physically be able to gift to a lot of these people. I'm going to be boxing them up to either send through the post or to leave on their doorstep. I can quite easily go down the list and go, oh yes, they need one of those, they need one of those, they need one of those, they don't need that, they don't need that. So I hope that made sense. You might be watching this thinking, oh my god, that's getting really complicated, but hey ho. And then I've also just got a piece of note paper that this is like my running shopping list of stuff that I need to get to do the baking. I've already got a lot of stuff that I need, but things like for the marshmallows, I need some more gelatin powder and some more liquid glucose. For the amaretti biscuits, I need more ground almonds. I do try and make everything dairy free because I'm dairy free, James is dairy free, and I do like to make enough of it so that we can eat some. So I do try and make everything dairy free. So I do need certain things I have to get from certain shops. But yeah, so I have my little shopping list. That's a running list. I'll add to that as I go. Then I have this little one that I've covered up just in case my mum, for whatever reason, finds this video and decides to watch it. But this is the plans for my mum. My mum's, it's a big birthday next year for my mum. So I've planned out what I plan to do for her big present when we're allowed to, and costed it all out and everything. So I've got that written down there. Then we get into like the household management trackers and things. So here I only started using this halfway through the year, so that's why half it's empty. But this is the, what did she call it? It's Peanuts Planner Co, and it's her like daily tracker. But what it is, it's like a day of the week tracker, I think she calls it, or day specific tasks tracker. And it basically is, it has every single week of the year marked out on it in the columns, and then you have day specific tasks down here. I don't actually use it as day specific tasks, I just use it for as a list, but I use the weekly part of it. So this is my cleaning tracker, and again I got this idea from, it was either Lindsay or Rana, I can't remember which of them did it first, but I really love this idea, and it does work for me when I actually want to do cleaning. I'm terrible at cleaning, I hate doing it, I'm rubbish at it, so it doesn't get used as often as it's supposed to. But I have a few weeks where I do a few things and then a few weeks where I do everything, but it helps me to have everything listed out. So this is the stuff that ideally I would like to do every week. Often happens less than that, but I have it all marked out and I can check it off as I go, because I like to be able to tick all the different boxes. Then next up, I've got another of the Peanuts Planner Co recurring tasks list, and this is things that need doing around the house that don't need to be done every week, or even every month. Sometimes they need doing a couple of times a year, and I just mark off when it's been done. In fact, I need to mark off because I cleaned the water filter the other day. So for November, I cleaned the water filter. We use a piece of charcoal for our water filter, so yeah, so I just have those there. On the back side I have like adulting tasks, so I have things like my car tax, service insurance, etc., and then I have things to do with Bert and eye test and dentist, and again, things, they don't happen every month, or they don't need to happen every month, so they go in there. I've got on this side, I've got another recurring task. This one is like personal care things. So it's just keeping track of how often I do these personal care things. So having a haircut, having my brows done, doing my nails, etc. It's again just to try and motivate me to do these personal care things more often. And then on the back, so this one is how quickly we go through products, which, we basically, our products, a lot of our products, not all of our products, but a lot of our products we buy in bulk or have to go to a certain shop to get. So I keep track of how often I'm going through them by using these recurring tasks inserts. I am actually changing them for next year to the weekly one because I find this isn't quite accurate enough. But so I basically have things like shampoo and conditioner. I get them refilled. I get the bottles refilled at a health food shop near us. So I have to go to a specific shop to get them done. So I mark basically how long it takes me to go through a whole bottle, and things like we have our toilet paper delivered in bulk. Our Bert's wet and dry food, we buy big bags, so we only need to get them every few months, so we keep track of that. Lots of these things. It just helps me basically stock manage, if that makes sense. It's like inventorying and managing the stock of something. Sorry about that. Siri just decided to ping on when I started talking about stocks. Right, so, and then the final thing that I've got in here is my vehicle maintenance log. I'm terrible at looking after my car. Like, my other James is an engineer. He is a car nut. He has multiple cars. He collects them. He is an engineer. He builds car engines for fun, and I'm terrible at looking after cars. So I have to have a vehicle maintenance log so that I remember when I last did things, or rather when I didn't do things. So the last section in my home section is Bert, and in here I have this little sheet which has got a picture of him on. It's on vellum and it's just a picture of him, and it's just got his main details like his birth date and his breed type and his chip number and things just on there. I have a health log for him, and I've just covered it up just because it's got the vet's telephone number on it, but it mainly has things like if he's been sick, when he had his inoculations and things on it. And then I have a little weight log for him. We haven't been weighing him as much recently because we signed up for a subscription for his wormer and flea thing, but we probably should still weigh him. We only ever really used to weigh him when we were giving him his wormer. But yeah, so I just have a little weight log, and then I have a doctor visits sheet for that mythical time when we will actually get to go into the vet surgery with him. We can't at the moment, but I've just got that for if I need to make notes. Then the final section in my planner is my health section. And in here I have again 3 sections. I've got fitness, well-being and conditions. These are again those personalised custom tabs from Olivia's shop, Lines Plus Paper. And in here I've got a weight tracker, and you'll see in this section I'm using the yearly tracker again from Peanuts Planner Co, and I just have my weight tracker. I weigh myself every Saturday. I only started doing it partway through the year because I joined a diet scheme, so I weigh myself on a Saturday and I just make a note of it on here. I also have one for my steps. I use an Apple Watch, so steps aren't something that is obvious on an Apple Watch, but I do still like to record how many steps I'm doing. I aim for 10,000 a day. I very rarely get 10,000 a day because my job is very sedentary. I sit down a lot, so yeah, I struggle to get 10,000, and one of the things that I really want to do is to try and get 10,000 more often for 2021, so fingers crossed. And then I also keep track of calories, and this is the active calories on an Apple Watch, so it's like the red ring. My target is 500 a day. I don't often hit 500. I often get close, but I don't hit it. So I again want to keep track of that. Then again, I've got body measurements. I'm terrible with taking body measurements. So until earlier this year, I cared about my weight, but I didn't keep track of it. I didn't think about it. I didn't put myself on a diet or anything. But this year I took it seriously, and I've lost quite a lot of weight. I've lost like 10% of my body weight. I'm really chuffed with how I'm doing. But I was never really into body measurements, so I didn't really take them very often, and I still don't. But I did take them not long after I started on my diet, and then I took them again in October, and I want to try and get into the habit of doing it every month. So I've got this little insert in here for that. Next we move to well-being, and in here this is mainly like reading and hobbies and things. So I have a recommended list. So this is basically if someone recommends to me a book, music, podcast, TV or film, I write it on here and mark it off. I have this books to read insert. This is from EO Edits, and I love it because it looks like a library card. I need to finish filling it out, but I just like to keep a track of when I finished a book and what it was. So I do need to update this. My only problem is I read a lot of books every year, so I'm probably going to need more than one per year, because I know that I've read at least another 4 books since then. So then I did make this little insert before I made the recommended list, and I think actually I'm going to remove this one because I don't really need this. So this was books that I wanted to read next year. And I've just got A Court of Silver Flames on there because I've pre-ordered it, so it'll be arriving straight onto my Kobo. Then the next thing I've got in here is again from EO Edits, and this is the Admit One Movies and TV Tracker. Again, I didn't fill this out. I was filling it out in my memory planner, but I didn't fill it out in here. So I sort of feel like this is redundant. I don't know whether I'm going to use it next year or not. Then the final section in my planner is my conditions section for my health. I have multiple health conditions, so I like to just keep a track of them. At the front, I've got a bit of information about something that I've been researching, so that I had notes for when I spoke to my doctor. And then I've got a health log, and for ages I've had this health log in here and I didn't fill it out, and then a few weeks ago I did finally fill it out, and it's basically I've got here the date that important events happened. So like when I got diagnosed with asthma, the massive allergic reaction that I had before that led to my diagnosis, when I was on Accutane for my acne many years ago, all of those things, I've got the dates, so that, because often I'll go to the doctors and they'll go, oh, so when did that happen? And I'm like, because I'm terrible with dates, I don't actually know when things happened. So I've just got that all written down on there. And then I've got another doctor visit sheet from Peanuts Planner Co. just for when I do have doctor appointments. Finally, at the back, I've got a little Foxy Fix page lifter. And then I've got another ring protector here. And then the A6 Compagna has 2 pockets this way round at the back, which I think are really useful. I keep lots of little pictures in here of James and Bert. And then in this one, I keep my postage stamps for my business, because I have multiple different sizes. This little Monstera is from Kubo and Lucy, and it's a lovely green colour. And that is just clipped onto the zip back here, which I don't know if I've got. Oh, I've got my Hobonichi ruler in the back here. And then in this pen loop, I have the Tombow that I'm using the most at the moment. I just tend to keep it in there. I know Tombows are quite large, so it does stick out a little bit, but I don't mind. And then in the big back pocket, I have appointment cards, important like letters and things, receipts, a card from my sister, and then some cards for work, and then my stickers from my shop. So these are like my minimal stickers, and then my dot stickers and things that I use in my monthly. I just keep them tucked back there. So I can't believe this is going to be a massively long video, isn't it? I'm going to have to edit it down loads. But I hope you enjoyed that. That's a really in-depth flip of my A6 Compagna from Gillio, and this is in the colour Rust. I hope that you enjoyed that. I do hope that if I do, when I'm getting set up for 2021, I will maybe film how I do it, or I'll film a flip once I've done it, because I will be changing a couple of little things. But yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed watching today, and if you did, please do like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys.